As you all know, leveling up gags is boring and long, so I wanted to make a guide to give you some of my best tips on leveling up your toon quicker and easier. For those who want the quick answer, the fastest way, in my opinion, is by taking on level 5 cog buildings in an invasion district, whilst getting together with people who can help you train, or complement your gag type, like lure and trap. However, for those who want an in-depth guide with lots of tips and tricks, which I've learned over the years, keep watching and feel free to skip sections which don't interest you. We'll start with each gag level and the best way to train them. Leveling your first gag of any type, whether it be lure, trap, or even throw, is relatively simple. Teleport to an invasion district, and then teleport back into Welcome Valley. This will give you a ×2 experience on any gag thrown in ToonTown Central. This should allow you to get level 2 gags in 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the gag. Also, try and target the cogs of the same level of your gag type. So, if you're using a cupcake, try and focus a level 1 cog instead of a level 2 cog. It will give you better accuracy overall. Please don't forget, at a low level, don't be afraid to run back to the playground. It will avoid you going green in a battle or going sad, depending on what you want to call it, and losing all of your gags and wasting a lot of time. As a secondary note, if you teleport back to the playground or go green or sad, you'll have to jump back into Welcome Valley. If you need to stock up on Jellybeans, don't forget to check out this video, it might help. Getting your 3rd level gag is also straightforward. It will take about 10 to 20 minutes using the Welcome Valley trick. I wouldn't recommend any other tricks at this point, just because it's so simple and it'll only take 10 to 20 minutes. Try to also focus level 2 cogs instead of level 3 or 4 cogs. Don't use a level 2 gag on a level 1 cog, it won't give you any XP unfortunately. Leveling your 3rd gags and onwards can be slightly harder and take quite a bit longer. I'd recommend leveling all of your gags up to level 3 before moving onwards. You will now have more options available to you. You can start training in buildings, factories, or even bullion mints, depending on your laugh level. I wouldn't recommend the following tips to anyone who hasn't already advanced to Donald's Dock or Daisy's Gardens. But now, you can begin training your toon in buildings with larger groups. I'd recommend level 3 to level 5 buildings, depending on your group laugh level and obviously the gags you guys have. Ideally choose 5-star buildings if possible. Buildings have a unique feature where they increase the XP you earn the higher you go up in the floors. Make sure, if you are training in a building, to pick a district that has an invasion of your desired level cog. For example, if you're training a level 4 gag, try to pick a tier 3 or tier 4 cog invasion, like a name dropper or a glad handler. The reason for this is purely because the higher the cog tier, the higher the level is going to be, so it's going to be harder to complete those buildings. It will also vary in which playground that you pick the building. If you pick a building in Daisy's Gardens that's 5-star, it's going to have cogs, depending on the invasion of course, cogs between 4 and level 8 or 9. However, if you go to the Borough or even Donald's Dreamland, the cogs can be as high as level 12. So, how do you train in a building? As you can see by the multipliers on the screen, the higher the floor, the higher the multiplier is, up to ×6 multiplication. I always recommend to blast through the first 2 floors, killing all the cogs as quickly as possible. But don't use gags you want to train. Once you get to the 3rd or the 4th floor, you can begin to use gags that you are training, but only of the weakest kind. The multiplier on these floors are ×4 and then ×5. Once you reach the 5th floor, you want to use your biggest gags possible for the gag that you're training. This ensures you get the best multiplier. If you're using 2 toons, like I am, feel free to only attack with the toon that is training. This ensures that you get as many hits as possible with the gag type. The limit for XP points is 500 per building. It will turn grey when you can't gain any more experience in a single building. And that's it. That's the best way to train your gags. I'm going to go into more depth later on each gag and the best ways to train them. Now, although not as fast as buildings, scrap factories offer a ×3 multiplier, or even the harder steel factories offer a ×4 bonus. This is the same for mints, west wings and the first fairway, with a ×3 bonus, and Bullions and East Wing and the Fringe have a ×4 bonus. However, I wouldn't recommend training in these, but they can give you a nice boost to the gags that you do use. Just don't go out of your way to use a gag that doesn't suit the situation or the fight. People can get quite frustrated. These are great for doing tasks or passive training, amazing for training sound or even lure, and especially toon-up. Just remember, a lot of people want to complete these factories as quick as possible. So either ask if they're happy for you to train with them, or just passively train on and off. Remember, you do not need an invasion for these bonuses. So I'm going to show you how I find groups to train in buildings. So first thing you do is you want to go to toontownhq.org. That will allow you to find this website, log in, create a character, link your account, and then first thing to do is check for invasions, so we can see the timings on invasions, so we can see how long an invasion has left. So if we look at something like a, I don't know, ambulance chaser, 34 minutes left, so we want to go to Kaboom Cliffs, so we go there, teleport. I will find a building in just a moment. After that, we then want to go to groups. As soon as we go to groups, we can select this button, which is create a group. I do have to quickly find a building, so give me 20 seconds. I'll jump back in just a minute. So I'm just going to do a 3-story building just to show you how you do this. But you find a building. As soon as you find the building, you can click create group. As soon as you create a group, it will actually automatically tell you where you are. So we're in Barnacle Boulevard. We will have a 3-story building. It is a Lawbot building, and we are training. That's really important that you select training just here. How many others do you have with you? 0. Is there any additional information you want people to know? That this is where you can put what gag you are training. So I am training sound. Or you can just simply write training sound, to be honest with you. Training sound. Done. We create this group. Now, it shouldn't take too long, but I am just going to skip ahead just so we can see who joins. Back in a minute. And look at that. In exactly 3 minutes, 3 minutes, we have found 3 more toons to come and train sound from all the way from laugh level 100 to laugh level 58. And yeah, that's as easy as that. It's so easy to find a group nowadays. And just like that, finished the building. Everyone got a good amount of sound training in. I probably looked a bit. Oh, look at that! And someone's just got their first trunk. Brilliant. Nice. Congrats. I might look a bit strange here because I'm leveling up. I was using a level 1 gag, the little horn, bike horn. Oh, we got 2. Congrats. Look at that. Helping people out. Yeah, easy as that, guys. So, a couple of tips and tricks. You can get up to 12 times multiplier in the last floor of a building. However, you need either a promo code. So, a recently released one was the promo new-outage-1, which I think is still valid, but only till the end of January. That gave you 2 times 2 tokens. That would allow you to get your max EXP gain up to ×12 on the 5th floor. Occasionally as well, during Cartoonival, you can buy these multipliers. Cartoonival, I think, is between the 19th of September and the 20th of October. So keep an eye out for that. It's also called, I think it's something called Hype Fest as well. Also, do not overlook the silly meter. The silly meter is huge. There's a little video I have here just to show you how to get your silly meter, but you need to get it as soon as possible if you haven't already, because occasionally they can offer ×2 EXP on things like drop and trap. So keep an eye out for those and make sure to use those times when the silly meter is active to the best of your abilities. So do buildings and things like that. So just to clarify, there are opportunities to get a ×2 bonus from invasions, and then you can get a ×2 bonus from either your silly meter on specific gags, or from Cartoonival, or even promotional codes, and sometimes special events as well. So this should bring your overall total to ×4. Once we climb to the 5th floor of a building, ×4 brings it all the way up, so ×3 brings it all the way up to a ×12 bonus. So ×12 bonus on the 5th floor, you can easily get 500 points on a building. So sound is relatively easy, The biggest benefit from sound, in my opinion, is to lure beforehand to maximize your chance to hit. However, you can also train with another toon that has higher sound than you. So if you have a toon that's got maxed sound, they will have a higher chance to hit the cog than you will. So if you're using trumpet, for example, and they're using a trumpet, but they're a higher gag level, they have a better chance to hit, meaning you have a better chance to hit. So always try and train with someone with sound, but a lot of times you'll naturally level up sounds through factories and just completing your tasks. So if you do want to focus on completing it before you do a VP or something like that, jump into a 5-story building and smash it out as quickly as you can with your friends. And like I said, try and partner up with people who have bigger gags than you. So throw is relatively simple. Again, you just lure a cog and then throw. This will maximize your chance of hitting the cog. If you can't lure for any reason, or your partner doesn't have a lure in a building, then as long as your partner has a higher gag level than you, or the gag track for throw, then it'll be easier to hit the cogs. Failing that, just aim for cogs which are similar level to your gag level, and you should have good luck. So training squirt is very similar to training throw. You want to try and get someone to lure beforehand. Now, try and aim for cogs the same level of you. You don't always have to lure. You can also be with another toon and both squirt at the same time. Now, if your partner has max gags, they will have a higher chance to hit a cog. So it's best for them to attack with squirt at the same time. Generally, you should hit about 95% accuracy most times you attack with a max toon. So, toon-up is obviously different from the other gags. Jump up to the 5th story building. Don't tune up before this, there's no point. Get to the top floor of a building. Now, before you pick the building, obviously jump into an invasion district. You want to try and pick a cog type that has multi-attacks. So something like a mover and shaker, or a mingler, or a yes man, Rubber Baron, or a Hollywood. I think that's all of them. They will then have a multi-attack, which means that the attacks attack all toons at once. This is beneficial when you're training toon-up, because a lot of the times, if you're doing the damage or if you're getting targeted for the attacks, obviously you won't have anyone to tune up. So leave 3 or 4 cogs left, or 2 if it's quite a high level cog, and let them attack you again and again and again. And when they hit on the attacks, tune up as quickly as possible. Spam heal each other essentially on the top floor of a 5-story building, obviously stopping once you hit to 500 XP. Once you hit 500 XP, you can't get any more. The whole track will go grey. So again, just to clarify, multi-attack cogs if possible, invasion district, 5-story building, spam heal each other. Now, training drop. So many people struggle with training drop, and there's good reason behind it, because it has such a low accuracy, and you can't help with that low accuracy by luring people. So you have to do something called stunning. Now, stunning appeals to every single gag type bar sound, which activates first. So what stunning is, if you are dropping a flower pot on a level, let's say level 2 cog, you'll have, or even a level 1 cog, you'll have a very low accuracy. So you can increase this accuracy by stunning a cog. Now, what stunning is, if you use throw, sound, or squirt, I think they're the main 3, it will then stun the cog, and what that means is you'll get a 25% bonus per gag used. So for example, if you use if someone uses a throw before your drop and a squirt before your drop, you're going to get a 50% bonus to hit that cog. That's massive. Stunning a cog is so important when you're training drop, because it helps everything. So like I said, if someone before you, two low level cupcakes or something like that will give you a 50% bonus to hit with drop, allowing you to hit every single time. A lot of the times you can hit 95% accuracy with drop if someone stuns the cog before you. So bring someone with you who has reasonable gags, get them to stun the cog before you drop. Don't even bother dropping on a cog if it's not stunned. So training trap. People always think it's harder than it is, but I think it just doesn't get used as often as other gags. So jump into a 5-story building, definitely the best place to train. We've already clarified that. However, 5-story building, bring someone with lure. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a lot of time and possibly dying. So someone with lure, someone with tune-up is your ideal candidate. Trap can never miss. So that's not a problem whatsoever. Trap a cog, lure a cog, trap a cog, lure a cog. Try do it in the same turn, so you're trapping and your partner is luring. Now that's going to maximize time and benefit. A lot of the times you have to start using traps on the 3rd or 4th floor because you will kill the cogs too quickly. So, the best way to train lure. Ensure you're with another toon and you're both luring at the same time and using the same gag type. What I mean by that is there are 2 gag types within the lure track. You have singular lures and group lures. Group lures are obviously, as they sound, you're grouping all of the cogs together to lure them at the same time. So things like little magnet, big magnet, and hypno goggles, and even presentation actually. And then you have singular lures like the $1, the $1, the $5, and the $20, if that's right, and the $10, I think as well. Each one will receive a bonus. So if you're both using, or if you're using a little magnet and a big magnet, you'll get a 15% bonus. So ensure that you're luring together. It will give you an additional bonus. It will give you a 10 to 20% bonus depending on which gags you're using. Also, if you have a 3rd toon, ensure that they trap one of the targets. Now, by doing that, you can increase the accuracy by a further 10%, meaning you won't miss your gag, meaning your lure, which will obviously allow you to gain more XP towards the end of the building if you don't miss. As you can see by the video as well, once you lure, you can either just pass your turn until the cogs unlure, or you can use a low-level sound to push them back quicker. One thing I always recommend with lure is to make it organic. So go to your garden and plant your organic trees. If you need to know how to garden, you can check out this video. But yeah, pop down to the garden, plant your lure gags, and then it's going to give you an extra 10% bonus depending on which gag it is. I hope most of that made sense to you, if not all of it. I will be making a guide to accuracy because the more accurate your gag is, the more XP you're going to be earning per building. So, I believe that's it. I've covered everything that I could think of. I've gone from everything that I've struggled with to everything that my friends have struggled with. The one last tip I really wanted to put out there is there's a lot of groups around, especially on Facebook or on Discord, the TTR Discord. If you ask politely, I'm sure so many people would be more than happy to train gags with you. I'm one of them. Pop a comment down below or even message me if you have me on Discord, and I'm more than happy to jump online if I have time and help. I love helping people train gags. I find it so exciting. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask. That's one of the worst things is when you're alone. So give us a shout. We'll see what we can do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and a comment if you've enjoyed, or any criticism, or mainly if anything I've forgotten. I really want this to be one place where everyone can get all the advice they need. Like I said, I'm going to make some future videos like the videos on accuracy and those sort of things. So keep your eyes out. I'm going to make as much content as I can to help everyone level up or laugh or train the gags as quickly as possible.